Ballet mightn't be the first thing you think of for war-ravaged civilians trying to get over their trauma. But Australian Nicholas Rowe would beg to differ. He's taught dance in some of the world's most troubled regions, from Bosnia to the West Bank to Ghana, and he's passionate about its healing powers. Dateline's David Brill caught up with Nicholas on a recent trip to the Middle East to see what a difference a dance can make.
This is the Bourgeois Baraje camp, situated in the centre of Beirut. As you'll see, fairly rough infrastructure. There's about 30,000 people living in this camp, all descendants of Palestinians and Palestinians who came in 1948.
This refugee camp is an unlikely place to find an Australian ballet dancer. And this alleyway is an unusual place to find a dance movement workshop.
Okay, this is quite an interesting location we're going into. And go.
Nicholas Rowe is leading a group of international dancers and Palestinian teenagers into a different sort of dance space.
They're coming out and they're going to explore how they can do movement in these type of locations. It's kind of about reclaiming space. It's about gaining a sense that these are fairly, when you look at it on the surface, could seem like very oppressive conditions, and they are. But by being able to put some sort of aesthetic quality to it, by being able to determine, we can dance here, we can make movement here, you can give a whole new meaning and a whole new sense to what this place is. Memkun Intertinting, Minhun, Honak, Badan Honak. Faham? Tadrib Zahada. Oh, Diana?
Nicholas has worked in Palestinian refugee camps in Lebanon for the past 11 years. Today he's here with his dance colleagues for a movement class with disabled children from the camp.
Oh, please. وكتير بسرعة الشغل. Oh, keep going. Oh,
For these children who have suffered so much, it's a rare chance for a physical and artistic experience.
So amazing. I mean, you walk into a room with a group of people who are in a refugee camp, but also a room with a group of people who are in a fairly sedate place in terms of physically, and then see them 10 minutes later making up movement, creating, being sort of aware and alive, and making, having aesthetic experiences with movement. It's just so exciting to watch. It's just beautiful. It's also a chance for some of these dancers who work in high-end companies in the festival to come in and see how they can interact with other people with mixed abilities and to find creative ways of working with them.
It opens my heart. It is a very human-to-human kind of connection in a very elemental way, and in a way that I think all of us can understand no matter what.
Carla Peterson is an artistic director from New York. This is her first visit to Lebanon.
It is a way of working within the arts that is very intimately connected to community, and he brings a special gift, I think, to what he does here, because he has both his own intelligence in terms of how he works with the children and the youth, but also the fact that he brings great joy to it is really sensed, I think, by everyone that he's working with.
Nicholas believes dance has many uses, especially with the Middle East going through dramatic political and social transformations.
I think dance can function on many levels within a society during a time of trauma or crisis or change and upheaval. One is obviously the performing end through festivals such as the one here in Lebanon and in Ramallah, in which artists get to provide an alternate vision, an alternate view of how the world could be or might be. One of the great things about dance is that it is a great place to express ideas, but it's also a great place to realize ideas.
This is Ramallah in the West Bank. Nicholas lived here for 8 years when he set up the Palestinian territory's first contemporary dance company.
In 1998, I came here to teach a workshop. I was overawed by the place. It was just incredible. There was this very vibrant, lively, dynamic group of dancers in the studio who were in such contrast to the quite desperate circumstances outside the studio. To get there, I'd had to go through an Israeli blockade with tear gas and the soldiers stopping and holding up traffic for miles back. And so the last thing you kind of expect after going through that sort of environment is that people who are using their bodies, working with their bodies, trying to find ways of realising and expressing ideas with their bodies.
Nicholas's work and the challenges he faced were documented by fellow Australian ballet school graduate Joseph Brown.
So the army is surrounding Balada refugee camp at the moment. They've got 80 kids there in the kindergarten who are meant to be here, and they're not able to get home. Also 5 of the teachers that we're meant to be giving the workshop to, so we're going to start the workshop with 6 of the teachers, and then when they come, hopefully they'll be able to join us. I think the thing that always inspires people, in any culture maybe, is relevance. When they see something that it actually really pertains to them on stage in a live experience, it's so invigorating. You can't divorce dance from its context. And if the context is a highly political one, then you can't divorce dance from politics. You can say art for art's sake, but art doesn't exist in a bubble. So we're quite tight around here.
Today he's back in the studio for a dance workshop with former students.
Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth.
You've been coming here now for 13 years. You had to live pretty rough when you first came here. You were with the Australian Ballet, with the Sydney Dance Company, glamorous job supposedly. But you've been doing this hard stuff. Why?
It's funny, when I think back to the Australian Ballet, I remember in my first year at the Australian Ballet, the teacher saying, get your leg up high or you'll end up in community dance. And that whole notion of doing dance that isn't somewhere with the peak professionals of ballet would be somehow very unfulfilling. And it's been such an opposite experience. Taking your thumbs, very base of your spine. And yet I found when working with people who are struggling against adversity, and they are very much here, struggling just to find a location in which to gather together and dance and to share those dances. The passion that comes with that is so inspiring, and it's like a magnet. Keeping the hands, you're just going to feel like your knees being drawn down. Not you're dropping down, but you're here and you're just feeling the inside of your thigh stretching. I don't know how dance has helped in the sense that the work that I do with dance isn't about healing. It's not about treating people as traumatized people, but it is about trying to see how can people, any person, be empowered through movement.
Nicholas believes movement can help people negotiate their way through life's ordeals.
To find ways of moving in which people can move together cooperatively, creatively, support each other, lift each other, hold each other, nurture each other in movement. It doesn't do it in the same direct way that maybe words do if you try to go and console or support someone or try to give them dignity again through words, but it does it on another level. And so I think dance, whether it's being experienced in a class by children or watched as an event on stage by children, seeing those more positive images of what the body can do provides an alternative vision of how the world can be.
At the Ramallah Contemporary Dance Festival, now in its 5th year, we can see just how dance is transforming lives.
Like that more.
Right.
Because of Nicholas, I knew how much I love dance and how much messages can be given to people, to the audience.
Oh my God!
Tonight we will be in a diverse cultural dialogue.
This work is a collaboration between a traditional dance group and Japanese performers.
It is a very vibrant dance scene. There's so much going. It's so culturally active. So many people are just really creative and so committed to discipline in terms of the way they want to explore their art and their dance and their movement. So it's so exciting to come out and see this sort of thing going on.
Oh, thank you. It was a great dealing with you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you guys are great.
Was it really special?
Yes, it was. And it's the first time to have something here in Ramallah like this.
It brings people together?
Yes. Yes, it is very good to bring cultures together. Woo! Can I take a picture with you? Yeah.
David Brill at the Ramallah Dance Festival. And there are extra videos to go with all of tonight's stories, including more from that festival, online at sbs.com.au/Dateline.